Joining us this morning in studio, San Francisco Chronicle senior political writer Joe Garofoli. I keep thinking about the moment when he didn't want to be mayor, but then was convinced to be mayor.
Right.
And that conversation he had either with his family or with himself, because I said to Gasia earlier, I just got a sense of a lot of pride when I first met Mayor Lee, and because of that pride, he became this leader for us for, since 2011.
Right. I remember I did a Commonwealth Club with him, on-stage interview with him, right about that time. And are you going to run? Are you not going to run? And now there were other people who talked to him. There was Willie Brown and Rose Pye, which I think they're much more influential. But I always got the sense from him, as Sal, you kind of alluded to, was that as politicians go, he kind of was like a normal person, or close to a normal person, because he was a real person. He didn't grow up as a politician. He was a bureaucrat. He was a civil rights attorney, and he grew up in public housing.
And that made him a better mayor, you think?
Well, I think it definitely imbued in him a sense of what people are struggling with. Now, I think his legacy, there's definitely duality to that. The unemployment's very low, the city is booming economically, but there's still, the jury's out, the homeless situation is very difficult still. He didn't build the affordable housing that he wanted to, but he set in motion some of that stuff to happen. So it's going to be, there's a duality to his legacy.
When I spoke with him at City Hall just a few months ago, he made it very clear that the Trump administration coming in changed his seat as mayor. The work he had before him changed that day. And I saw him, in my mind, pushing up his sleeves.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how what Mayor Lee did in San Francisco was seen on a national level?
Well, everything that happens in San Francisco, we're always at the leading edge of what happens. And so that you have sort of a responsibility to be a role model here, because as sort of the vanguard of the progressive America, you can do things. And he took that responsibility seriously, especially when it came to immigration and issues like that. So yeah, no, he definitely was a fighter, a very calm person outside. You weren't going to get a lot of fiery speeches from Ed Lee, but you definitely knew that in his heart he believed a lot of these things.
Now this opens up a very interesting, period here, because the election was coming up, and just as a lifelong San Franciscan, I've seen this before. Someone gets appointed,
yes,
and then that person who, will just stay with it. Do you think that London Breed will decide, you know what, I'm going to stay with this because the people of San Francisco need continuity?
It's going to be a very interesting 6 months in San Francisco, and a very interesting year and a half in San Francisco politics. So London Breed is the acting mayor right now. If a majority of the board's members say that she can continue with mayor, she'll be mayor, or they can pick somebody else. They can pick anybody. Then we go to that person will be mayor until June 2018, and then there's a mayor. The mayoral election was originally scheduled for November 2019.
Right.
So
Mark Leno.
Mark Leno, he's already in.
Right.
We could see other people. We could see Assemblymember David Chu jump in. We could see Daniel Lurie, a philanthropist with Tipping Point, who's certainly has a lot of long-time connections with the city.
Mark Farrell, maybe.
Mark Farrell could be running. London Breed will certainly be running if we'll see. So it's going to be it's going to be definitely another, in most cases, Leno's been around for a long time, but it could be a new generation of leadership in San Francisco.
So let me ask you this just to clarify. So she's acting right now.
Yep.
Let's say they do not appoint someone else, so she will hold that position as interim
until June.
Until June.
Yeah.
Have the election. Does that mean we still have the election in 19?
Still have in 19.
So there's
yes.
two. Okay.
So there's two elections. So that's going to be. Leno's may run again, and he may run in next June, and as will other people. So we'll see. This is going to be some crazy few months in politics, and crazier than usual.
You know what this reminded me of? I'm old enough to have been in San Francisco all my life. I remember I was at Reardon High School when Mayor Moscone was shot and killed. They didn't have the internet then, but the priests at the time came to each individual classroom and told us. I remember that feeling, thinking, wait a minute. The mayor of San Francisco can't die. And I'm much older now. I'm an adult. I'm a grown man. I still had that feeling this morning when I found out, wait a minute, Ed Lee can't be dead.
Right. It's shocking, especially as Gasia was saying, we saw him yesterday.
Right.
He was doing his job. And as an example of kind of like what a real guy he is, he's shopping at 10 a.m. at Safeway.
Right, 10 p.m. at Safeway with his wife.
You don't see a lot of politicians doing that.
Right, you don't.
All right, Joe. Appreciate your time.
We're going to hold you here for a second. We have things in Alabama happening we're going to talk with you about in just a moment.
All right, we'll be right back after the break.